right. How's it going?
Good.
How many people this is the last chance you had to mark it off? Yeah, okay. That's cool. Okay. Well, like she said, I'm down there in the automotive department down there, down in T&I. I've been in industrial maintenance. I've taught there. I've taught welding before, not here. I've taught automotive. So they kind of put me wherever they need me at times and everything. But we thought we'd go over some stuff. They asked me to do this, and I thought I'd go over some stuff about maybe the future of automobiles. Where's this going? Where's it sitting at now? Things like that. I'm from, if you can't tell, I'm from Kentucky, eastern Kentucky. So it's a bit of a culture shock for me out here, quite a bit. Especially even between the fields, you know. I mean, not even between the fields, but staying automotive there compared to automotive here. It's different, you know. It's just different. So I've had to get a little bit used to how things are out here with it. But anyway, I had this plane on it. Anybody know what this is right here? Nobody? Come on!
Is that the Tesla ad? Is that what that is?
You're half right.
That part of it?
You said Tesla ad?
The not ad for Tesla?
Well, you're close. What happened here recently? I don't know. Was it within the last month or two?
Tesla shot that car up there.
Ah, there you go. You guys hear about the Falcon Heavy? World's largest, currently the world's largest rocket. Elon Musk, you guys heard of him? SpaceX, Tesla, all the same guy running the show here doing that. Yeah, he launched this thing up into space. It's meant to carry payload. Is what it's meant to do. But they wanted to shoot it up there to see what they could do right now first. And of course, what he do? He put his own Tesla roaster on the tip of it, and just wants it to hang out in space out there with it, you know, with it. He said he thought it'd be cool, you know. I think they're going to take this thing and take it to Mars. And then he said he wants to take an orbit to Sun with it. So we'll see how far he gets with that. I think somebody asked him one time, well, why do you want to do that? He goes, well, I think it'd be cool if some other intelligence came along and found it out there floating in space. I was like, well, I guess if you got so much money, you can just do that. Okay. So anyway, this isn't quite live, but it happened within the last, I thought, month or two, something like that. It's been within this semester that they took off. So anyway, what that has to do about automotive? Absolutely nothing. I just thought it was cool, okay, to do. But anyway, dealing with Elon Musk, he's taking things in a different direction if you keep up with Tesla and stuff like that on there. So anyway, they keep nice cameras everywhere on him, you know. I think you can actually go and find a live shot of it going on right now. Anyway, I guess this is what I'm supposed to be talking about right here, the future of automobiles and stuff. Anybody got a 2018 vehicle? 2017? Huh? What is it?
It's a Nissan Titan XV.
Okay. You like it?
I do.
I haven't asked anybody about it yet, so.
If you like to go fast, don't get the diesel.
Do you like the diesel in it, though?
The diesel was good. It pulled really well.
Yeah.
For a light
Yeah.
3/4 ton.
Yeah. Is that what they consider it, a 3/4 ton?
It's a heavy half, actually.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Well, cool. Well, I got somebody to ask now as I'm walking around. So anyway, I guess I'm supposed to talk about this. Anybody know what that picture is? Huh? Looks like a bus? Kind of looks like a bus, don't it? What? Looks like a semi, doesn't it? Bus, semi. Oh, I guess we can go back to the same person.
It's an electric tractor trailer rig.
There you go, all electric semi. So after Elon Musk come up with the, he's going all electric with all his cars and everything, he just thought, what the heck, we just make a complete electric semi. And so what you think about that or not, I don't know, but that was his production right there. In fact, I know we're getting off automobiles, but just kind of give you an idea of what they expect out of this thing on there. 0 to 60 in 20 seconds with 80,000 pounds. Thing's got 4 electric motors in the rear. If you got a little 4-cylinder in the car, you probably don't do 0 to 60 in 20 seconds in some cars. 65 mile an hour up a grade 5% grade hill. Most tractor trailers right now don't do that up a hill.
65 miles an hour going 5%.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So a fully loaded down tractor trailer usually don't do that right now. 300 to 500 mile range. It depends on what model you buy, and it depends on a lot more than that, right? But you know, that's what they expect out of it, and 4 independent rear motors on that thing. So he came out with this. I think they come out with it last year or anything. And actually, he's got some competition. There's a couple other companies. I don't know if you ever heard of Thor. There's a Thor Semi coming out, but all electric semis coming out. Now, I know most of us probably think of semis as over-the-road trucks going across I-80 here. You know, what good does that do me? But a lot of them are used in town. So Salt Lake City, places like that, a lot of metro areas, they cruise around town a lot. So that's one of his main goals, is to hit stuff that's used a lot like that. What you probably haven't found out is, well, first of all, does anybody know where he builds his cars at, the Tesla cars? OGM plant in Fremont, California. That's where he builds them. Everything in-house, except for the batteries. Anybody know where he builds the batteries? He does all this on his own. He's done it all here. Where? Anybody from Nevada? Nobody from Nevada in here? Sparks, Nevada. Outside of Reno. Probably heard of it? Out there. That's where he builds his batteries. They call it the battery factory there. So they're doing all research and development there on batteries. By the time this building gets done, it'll be the world's largest building square foot wise, where it's at. It has to get built in sections on there. So it's about, if you go from Sparks, Nevada down to Fremont, you're looking at about 250 miles right there. So already, people think, well, this will be, it's a futuristic thing. But it was about 2 to 3 weeks ago, he started running his own, they already started running them. So he's already running his own batteries from Sparks, Nevada, down to Fremont, down to his factory down there. In these electric semis, all electric. Pretty nice. So this isn't an in-town thing. Has anybody ever looked at the terrain going from Sparks, Nevada down to Fremont? What's he got to go across? He's got to go over the Sierras over there, Lake Tahoe, all that stuff. So it's not like it's totally flat going there. And so he's running them back and forth now. Got his own fleet. So to say it can't be done, well, they're already doing it in this case right here. So that was him. That's him taking pictures and posting it. That's leaving the battery factory there. So anyway, I usually bring that up because I follow him like no other. I think it's great what he's doing. Other people hate him, hate what is going on. It can't be sustained and things like that. But at least whether it goes under or not, I like his passion about it anyway. As far as that. Since you guys know about Tesla, maybe you know about his cars. I don't know if you do. Model X, Model 3 just came out. Model X, most of these cars are probably out of the realm of, regular middle class people buying them and everything. But the Model 3 was made for somebody middle class to buy. I think they start out about $30,000 or $35,000. That's what it is. You can charge it up in your home. They got the chargers out here. They'd rather you charge them up at home. That's cheaper on you on there. So all electric. Model X, and of course the one that has probably pretty much made him is the Model S, there, that luxury sedan on there.
How does the cost of electricity compare to like the cost of gas?
It's way lower. Yeah, way lower. And it also depends on where you live in the country. Because where I live in Kentucky, everything, talking about your house, everything's all electric, no gas. I come out here and I got to buy a house with gas in it, gas and electric. Electric's a little bit higher than out here. And so it depends on where you live, exactly. So anyway, that's the three models he's got. He's supposed to come out with another one here soon, but all electric, flat out get it. Actually, nothing can touch these things, 0 to 60 and stuff hitting on the road. There is a guy, actually, a lot of people ask, well, can these be, what's the use to have one of these in Wyoming? Well, if you think of remote areas, there's a guy that's got 2 of these in Riverton. He cruises all over Wyoming. And in fact, you ever been up to Jackson? Jackson's got quite a bit of chargers, CNG stations, things like that. Do what? Well, that's just it. It all depends on how you treat it. But usually, the old Teslas were about 250 miles in range, and now they've got them to where they're over 300 on a single charge. So this guy cruises them every day. You know, he'll bring one. I ask him, he'll bring one down for us. You know, take a look at. You know, once a year. You know, he's more than happy to do that. I know most people gripe about the. How many people have griped about the Tesla charging stations over here? But how many people thought they were ridiculous? You can be honest. See you shake your head. Yeah, that's cool.
I mean, it's coming, man. They're coming.
Yeah, they're coming.
It's not going to stop.
In fact, that's the old chicken and the egg thing, right?
Right.
Do you want me to have electric cars, or do you want me to build infrastructure? Well, we need the infrastructure before people's going to buy them. People just flat out ain't going to buy them, right? And so, you know, he's going to put them in. He's already put them in all over the country. He puts them in all the main corridors across the country. So.
Those are pretty silent.
Do what?
You barely hear them.
Oh yeah.
Silent.
Oh man, they're nice. They're nice.
Casey,
Yes.
in an area like Salt Lake City, where they deal with really low air quality, especially during conversion periods, if they could get about half their commuters driving these things, their air quality would just improve immensely, right?
It'd be nuts. Yeah. You know how much? It wouldn't even be close. You know that it would go down immensely, like you said. Not even close. So there are, you know, there's a lot of them down in Salt Lake, but I like the guy in Riverton because he shows that you can use it around here. That's the first thing I get whenever I actually teach an alternative fuels class down there. We teach about CNG, electric, hybrids, biofuels, things like that, and it's crazy how that's the first thing they bring up. Well, you know, we're 100 miles from anybody. Well, we build the infrastructure, we can do it. You know. But he's doing it. He's going to build his own infrastructure if he has to.
So the ones here in town are Elon Musk's?
Yeah. The first thing you get is, my taxpayer dollars went to that? How many people thought that?
How many people even saw them or know that they were here?
Over by the mall, right?
Yeah.
Over by the mall. How come they're by the mall?
By the interstate.
By the interstate.
Attraction.
Yeah. And it's by the mall and places you can eat, right? So that's where he's putting them, because you can go do something, right? While sitting there charging.
That's why that Japanese place.
Yeah, yeah. Sapporo's over there. He's got 8 of them over there. Now, why 8? Holy cow, I'm never going to see all of them filled up with Teslas. Because it costs him the same amount of money to do 8 as it does 4. So he goes ahead and puts 8 in. And he does it by places where people are going to go do something while sitting there charging.
You're making improvements on the charging time, right, Casey?
Right now, he's got it down to 30 minutes, about 80% charged. That's pretty good. And it's only going to get better from there. You know, so yes, definitely. His roadster, so he had his roadster that he shot out in space, but that was one from 12 years ago. So this is going to be the new roadster right here he's coming out with. And just kind of give you an idea of what kind of performance this thing's got. against the known best performing car in the world right now, the Bugatti. If you look at those numbers, if you're into racing, those numbers are astronomical to you. Going from 1.9 seconds and the Bugatti being 2.4. 0.5 of a second is an eternity when you're racing. Half a second. So to say that thing's going to do that is pretty much nuts. And it's a four-seater. 0 to 100, 4.2. They don't know the top end of it, going to be over 250. I know the Bugatti's done over 270 miles an hour. That's just average right there. 620 miles on a, of course it's not going to be 620 mile range doing 250 miles an hour. But, you know, just kind of give you the idea of the performance of these things. How come electric cars perform so well?
These electrics got torque all the way up from the get-go.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Internal combustion engine, the torque is at a specific RPM, right? Peaks. Low, high, low. Where this thing's going to run, it's going to be pretty much level all the way through. So they perform great. Plus they're efficient. How efficient is an internal combustion engine?
Was it 25%?
You're probably about right. Meaning, depending on how much energy I put in, how much do I get out? So you put so much in, you get 20 to 30% out. That pretty much sucks, right? Compared to how efficient is an electric motor. How efficient is an electric motor?
Depends on the application and the actual motor, but it can be very high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking in the 80s, can hit 90s.
And higher, yeah.
Efficiency. So to see that big a difference in the efficiency is nuts, you know, to me, seeing that on paper and everything. So that's why, you know, a lot of things are moving this way. But just give you an idea of I thought the performance was great. Plus the price. The price is pretty good too, you know. Not that I could afford a $200,000 either, but, you know, I can play around with it. Don't worry if you're not into Tesla. Every manufacturer's going to it. This is Porsche's new one. They call it the Mission E, all electric. They've already got hybrids. But this is the one to compete with the Tesla. Tesla's already set the bar, and now everybody's going to catch up with it. And what's funny to me is this Mission E still doesn't even come close to that Tesla, the Roadster. But they're not going to let you out. Let you off there. If you're not into Tesla, every manufacturer's going to have something for you. If you're into, for people like me, no worries. Mercedes has got their all-electric vehicle. Volkswagen has theirs. Ford Focus, all-electric. So we're starting in the $25,000, $30,000 range, something like that, you know. So that's something easily I could afford. Of course, the Chevy Volt. Anybody got a Chevy Volt? Know somebody that's got one? I think that's one of the coolest. Their idea behind it is one of the coolest ones ever. So they literally got an onboard generator is what it is. It's not like a Prius where the engine or the electric motors can propel you. A Volt has a generator on, so it's always all electric. It only kicks on whenever it needs to, and it produces energy to run the motors. And so, if you're worried about length, or that's usually what everybody cares about, distance. How far am I going to make it? Am I going to be able to make it to Salt Lake from here, all electric? Well, you don't have to worry about it in the Volt. You'll have a generator to back you up. You'll get there. Okay. Anyway, I think their idea is one of the best ones out there. For all you supercar guys, don't worry. Hybrids, they've already got the hybrids, McLaren hybrid. These guys are realizing, well, we talked about the torque behind it. So instead of having that engine where, you know, it peaks on the torque at a certain RPM, they can kick that in a little bit earlier with electric motors. So they're realizing the potential between hybrids. on here. The McLaren, the Porsche already had a hybrid for a while. BMW, that's BMW's i8, it's all electric. They've had it out, it's been out for actually a handful of years already on there. And of course Ferrari's got theirs. So whether you're at the low end or the high end, wherever you plan to be after you grow up, I'm not grown up either, they're going to have something for you on there, okay? Now, why are they doing this for? How come everything's moving from totally internal combustion engines to hybrids or all electric?
Because the oil companies slowly starting to shut down.
Well, I don't know the facts behind that, so I don't know. But the government has a big thing to do about that. How many people heard of the CAFE requirements? Corporate average fuel economy. Maybe you heard of that, maybe you haven't. But the government, one thing is the government set these standards right here. And as you can tell over, well, 1990 there, but a lot of people may not have been born here and then, all the way up to 2010, everything kind of stays stagnant. What are the CAFE standards? What does that mean? Does anybody know?
Well, it basically says right there, it's a fuel economy. You have to have certain minimum miles per gallon for how many cars you manufacture. It's not just the U.S., it's all over Europe as well.
Yeah,
In fact, they're ahead of us, I believe.
yeah, usually are. Usually are. But this means a manufacturer like Ford, all their cars together have to average a certain MPG. Okay? And so the only way to get there right now is through hybrid and electric technology. Through there. Okay? So that's why you see these companies doing this. They also see the benefit out of it, but of course a little bit of push from behind, right? We're going to make you do it. We're going to make you come up with something. Okay? So you can see what 2010, 2012, around that area, boom, all the way up to the future, about 10 years from now. Things are going to have to change. Well, we're in 2018 now, so 7 years from now, it's going to be nuts. So right there they're saying light trucks need to be about 50 miles a gallon. Average, I usually hear about the average. Every vehicle in the fleet should average about 55 miles a gallon. So that's where these changes, one of the reasons these changes are coming about, is they're being forced to. So a lot of engineering, man, I need students down there that first are good as far as tech-wise, good with computers. And even be, if they want to keep on going, easily, you can see where things are going into engineering, mechanical, electrical engineering. They will never have a problem getting a job if these things keep on going the way they're going right here. Okay? Research and development is a big key here to this stuff. Okay? Right here. Number 4. Just kind of give you an idea, because of emissions. They want these because of emissions. Most of the time in Wyoming, we don't care about it, right? Anybody get their car checked out here? No. Didn't think so. That's right. But if you ever have lived in a place where you have to get your car checked yearly, or every time you get licensed or something, this is one of the reasons why emissions. Now this carbon dioxide emissions aren't the only emissions that a car puts out, but you can kind of tell where we kind of rank at here. Now this is how much the country puts out on the whole compared to other countries. They also do one to where how much carbon dioxide we put out per person. That's different. In fact, we rank about 3rd there. Saudi Arabia and I think Australia rank higher per person than we do, which is kind of nuts. I never would have guessed that on there. But because of the CAFE standards, the emissions led to the CAFE standards, and things have to change. Okay? Many people heard of that? Did you have one? I'm probably only mentioning this because of probably 2 things. One, because of emissions. What happened here? For the people that didn't know, can somebody tell them what happened here?
VW calibrated their engines to run a little differently than what it would actually show while it was on the sniffer when they were clearing it for emissions testing.
Yeah, so if I got a VW, I roll it in to get an emissions check down Salt Lake. Everything's hunky-dory. It passes. Back out on the street, look, I'm getting 55 miles a gallon. Boom! It's the greatest car ever. Except for, they forgot the part that the emissions were doing great and the economy sucked when it was on the emissions test. But once you got on the road, everything was ran great, but the emissions sucked. So that's kind of what happened. Worldwide, VW is actually the world's largest automaker. I don't know if a lot of people know that or not. But they own a lot of brands. They even own Porsche. But they own a lot of brands that are out there. And we're talking a small amount here in the United States. It was about 500,000 vehicles. But we're talking millions across the country, across the world, especially Europe. So anyway, they got busted. The main reason I'm mentioning this, not only because of the emissions thing, is because they were busted because of students like you on there. It was a couple people around this country had kind of suspicion that this was happening, but they couldn't prove it. And so if you go up here over to West Virginia University, over there, they win this grant to do some testing. And then, a few months later, they leave it up to the students to do this. The students come up with a way to test this thing when it's not on a dyno. And so because of students, they end up, well, first of all, if you actually watch it, anybody ever watch Dirty Money on Netflix? Watch the first episode of Dirty Money. It talks about this right here. It actually talks to the people up in West Virginia. And they talk about it. So they published it. They actually talked about not publishing it because they're like, "Are you kidding me? What kind of repercussions are we going to have if we publish something like this?" And so it took them a while before they actually wanted to come to and actually publish this report. And so they publish a report. It goes to a few people. Of course, they got to run their own tests and everything. And then because of that, you see the catastrophic failure that come out from it. Just kind of give you an idea, this is what a car looks like when it's getting emissions test. You can see that actually the computer up here, they actually plug it into a port in the dash. Well, as soon as that computer gets plugged into the dash, that's when it switched over. That computer knew I was getting checked. And so right there, everything looks hunky-dory. Well, the students come up with, let's do this. Let's don't put it on a dyno. Let's hook it to the exhaust right there, put it in the trunk here, this big machine, and let's drive it around in real life. Never hook anything up to a computer to see what really happens. So boom, right there. Because of students like you, they end up helping busting this thing wide open. Right there. I thought ingenious. Awesome. To do it. Don't worry if you're not in the VW. GM will help you out. So there's been lawsuits here lately saying GM's doing similar things over the last few months. I don't know what the results of this is so far. I try to keep up with it, but sometimes it moves so fast I can't keep up with it. But that's the latest one. So don't think that VW is the only one or the first one. Okay? Every car manufacturer has been busted for something when it deals with emissions. Okay? They just made an example out of VW. I forget what it's cost them so far. Last figure I heard was maybe up to $28 billion. That's what I've heard. It's cost them. So anyway, I don't want you to think that VW is the devil here. So because of stuff like this, cafe standards and the little playing the games and stuff, we run into things like this. The Honda Clarity, is a fuel cell vehicle. I believe that's the Toyota Mirai. I don't know if you've heard of these or not, but these are actually in production right now. What's a fuel cell vehicle? Do you know what a fuel cell is?
Yeah.
Hydrogen?
Yeah. Reacts hydrogen with oxygen.
That's one thing you can do. And it's basically an electric vehicle to where we can take stuff like hydrogen and get the electrons out of it and use it as electricity. This is the one GM. I was out in SEMA a couple years ago. GM's already put this in production for the Army. The Army's going to use these. They call it the ZH2. Is a hydrogen, is a fuel cell vehicle truck. So basically they can take this thing anywhere in the world, it doesn't matter. They can plant it wherever their base is, and they can make their own fuel for it. So that's the idea behind it, is they don't have to rely on something. They can make their own fuel. If they got to move, pack it all up, go somewhere else, plant it, make their own fuel again. So this is something that's already being done on there. Some other stuff we teach back here, but it's led to it, research, CNG, compressed natural gas. We got plenty of that around here. So we talk about that. The truck here's got CNG on it. A lot of over-the-road trucks have LNG. What's LNG?
Liquefied natural gas.
Yeah, liquefied natural gas. So we're taking natural gas, and instead of a gas state, we're putting it into a liquid state. Does anybody know what it takes to do that?
A lot of pressure.
Not a lot of pressure.
Talked about
It could be, but it's not in this case. Huh?
refrigeration.
Refrigeration. So it's in a gas state, right? That means we got to take the temperature down. Does anybody know what temperature is to get into a liquid state? Keep on going. Negative, about negative 251, 4 degrees. That's what it takes to get that thing into a liquid state. And then in the liquid state, we can pump it into this. Of course, that's insulated, right? And we use it as it starts warming up. We take it into a gas state and use it as a gas state into the engine. So just one thing that they're doing. Of course, it's mostly on over-the-road trucks because they're always on the road, right? I can't use it in a regular pickup truck every day because if it warms up after a couple of days, I can't use it. I got to vent it out into the atmosphere. So we won't see LNG on just regular passenger vehicles. Biofuels, maybe you run into if you're into diesels and everything. So big research into this stuff. Kind of gives you an idea of biofuels. Anything we can make a fuel out of that's not petroleum based. Soybeans, animal fats, canola oil, corn oil, yellow grease, what they call it, used oil. Maybe you've seen people do that before. Run cars off of used oil. Not the best, but can be done. Anybody know about the Idaho National Laboratory here? It's in your backyard. It's 5 hours away. Huge research into electric vehicles, hybrid, biofuels. It's its own campus. And that's all they do is research up there. If you ever get a chance to go take a tour of that place, go do it. It's awesome to see what they're doing up there. I bring this up simply because Volvo, anybody got a Volvo? No Volvo? Heard of Volvo before? First major manufacturer that have said that they're going totally away from internal combustion engines only. In the next, I forget what it is, 2 to 3 years, maybe 5 years, all their cars will be some kind of either hybrid or all electric. That's a huge statement to make for a car manufacturer. So none of their cars will have engines in them only. Hybrid, electric, some version like that. So like you said, it's coming, right? It's coming. You're not going to be able to stop it. What's the future look like? Just a quick glance. You may have been on this Occupational Outlook Handbook. How many people? Good. What's it tell you?
Job prospects, how much money you can make in different areas depending on what career field you're in.
The only reason I bring it up is because I got a lot of students that come in there and never even know about this. They've never done any research on any field they've ever wanted to go into. I just happened to bring up the one for automobiles, but it's for any field you guys plan on going into. Check it out. See what kind of prospects you got here in this state, all across the country. As far as automobiles, well, the number of techs are going down, retiring, and there's very few people getting into it. So to say I can get a job anywhere in this country, even in the world doing it, is easy for me to say right now. They are hurting for people to work on vehicles. And it's only going to get worse with what you guys see is coming. Hybrids, electric technology, electrical engineering, good at computers to diagnose. I need it bad. And of course, you can move on from there. So, get a chance, go check it out. Oh, let's see if I can find it here. I think we're getting close to town, right? We're getting close to town. I'll show you a couple of small videos here. Since you mentioned it, I thought I'd show you a video real quick there. You may have got a car that's got, they call it, what do they call it? Adaptive cruise. Anybody got one? Anybody know what adaptive cruise is? Cruise control I can turn on and it will watch the cars in front of me, so I don't have to ever turn it off. It will slow down to those cars in front of me. Yeah. We'll watch this video real quick of Hyundai. They take it a little bit further with the braking too on here.
I believe actions speak louder than words. The challenge was to show these caring driver assist features in an exciting way. But you guys, it seems, are pretty hard to excite. Maybe the only way is to put our own lives on the line. Proof through jeopardy. So, here goes.
Okay, we're up to speed. All drivers, turn on ASCC and LKAS, please. A truck approaching. Okay, all drivers prepare for their flicks, please. Okay, truck 6.
Already out there. That technology is already out there. They're already putting it on cars. So you guys probably already seen all the commercials about braking and everything. Well, I think it's one of the greatest things they've done. Keep people from backing up into people and things like that. Lane assist, they'll stay in the lane for you. And also the cruise control, adaptive cruise control. Those are 3 different things on there. So that was pretty cool. I think we got time. I can show you one more real quick, which I think is the coolest one ever. But of course, I'm biased. On there. Anybody got any questions about this? Not that I know of right now. Now, the next one I have Maybe. So I don't know if you know, Tesla's got their own autonomous vehicles now. Well, in fact, they've had them ever since they come out. So whenever you go buy one, the hardware is already on it to do it. Every car has the hardware. You just have to buy the software to make it totally autonomous on here. They speed it up a little bit to get it through the video. What's funny to me is this is not the coolest part to me. The end part's the coolest to me, so. That's what I want. I want the self-park, come and get me later type deal. Okay? So the car's already got it on them. I mean, they're already doing it on there.
Casey, can you kind of touch on the future of the proprietary technology of auto manufacturers and smart repairs, smart maintenance, just a bit?
Oh man, I don't even know where to start. I mean, as far as what you're going to need to know,
Yeah, and how it's changing, and that the guy that runs a mom and pop garage here in town, what they're going to be competing with.
oh yeah. Well, luckily because of government interaction, you know, if I got my own shop and if somebody brings their Tesla to me, I have access to all their stuff. By law, the Freedom of Information Act. Doesn't mean I get it for free now, but I can have access to it, okay, on there. But stuff like this, man, is Well, put it this way, it's gonna take a lot of training. I mean, you know, working on vehicles and stuff like that, you need to be good in so many different fields. Mechanical, electrical, computers. I can't stress those last two enough because it's coming. I don't know. I don't know what to do. You know, places like Salt Lake. You know, it'd be nice to go talk to them and see what it is doing to them. I know there are some shops that people, that's all they do is they specialize in it. So it's not a Toyota dealership, but if I want to specialize in hybrids, that's all I deal in. So some of these people in these large communities, they're specializing in stuff now. You know, whether it be just hybrids or just diagnosing. They don't even touch the car. They get called to go diagnose what it is. They don't even get their hands dirty. So if you're good with a computer and their software, that's all you do. You travel around and just diagnose. So they're getting more into specialty stuff, it seems to be.
Since cars are becoming able to drive themselves, do you think that texting and driving and alcoholics will be an issue still? Or do you
Yes.
think that
I think so.
all these problems will be fixed seriously?
Well, put it this way, the government is not keeping up with the technology. The laws aren't. Here's the biggest example I get. About 5 years ago, Google was running around the hills of California, testing out their autonomous vehicle. And so they're just letting it drive around the hills of California out there, to see how well it did. Well, he happened to get pulled over for doing I can't forget what it was, 45 and a 35. It was small, it was something like that. But he happened to be in the passenger seat. So does he get a ticket? What's the law on that?
Who owns the car?
Huh?
Who owns the car?
That was my first thought.
That should be the first
Well, who owns the car? Well, I was thinking, well, he's behind the wheel. He's responsible for it, But if I remember right, I kept up with that because I was so curious in what the outcome was. I think it ended up getting dismissed because of all the logistics and the laws that were not kept up with that on there. It was nuts. But what happened here lately? Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good.
What happened here lately down in Arizona?
That Uber, self-driving Uber.
Self-driving Uber. What's interesting is because of cars like this, they got their own little black box now. They know everything. There's no way you're going to be able to lie and say, I was doing 55 when you were really doing 75. They actually took that car and took it out and they can look at all the data that was going on in that car at the time. And when it became autonomous, where he was, they got these cars, you already got your phone, right? Look at your face, unlock it with your face. They've already got it on the car. They know whether you're dozing off, looking up somewhere else, texting, where your hands are. It's already there. So it is not meant to substitute for you driving. It's meant to supplement your driving. It's what it's meant to do. Okay? Did you have a question? Okay.
How could you see this affecting Wyoming's economy in the near future, since this is having such a high rate? Our economy is basically based off of the production of oil and fuel.
Well, we'll put it this way. We got alternative fuels classes down there, but I seem to get a lot of flack from that. Simply because things going all electric, and I hear a lot of reasons why you can't do it. So I feel a lot of pushback on it, saying, we don't want it here, we don't want blah blah blah, things like that. It's also, you got to think of the area. We're pretty rural, so the chance of things coming through here, of course we're going to get it a few years down the road, before things happen. We'll put it this way: Nissan's got the Nissan Leaf, which is all electric. This Nissan dealership right here is the only one in the country that does not have a electric charging station. If that doesn't say something, to me that speaks volumes. I don't know, but that tells me something about how they look at it here. Things like that. I don't know.
Kind of give you some backup on where you're at. I come from the oil and gas industry. Wyoming is so sparse and so little power run to very much of the land. Our wells are in such remote areas that if it wasn't for solar and wind power, we wouldn't be able to automate our wells and run them. So we need these technologies in Wyoming just as much as we need them anywhere else. And if we're not honest about that, we're just lying to ourselves.
I know you thought about that.
It's critical here too. And natural gas especially is not going away. It's probably going to produce the bulk of the electricity that these cars are going to use, and a lot of this gas is going to come out of this state. And in order for it to do it efficiently, we need to be adopting these new technologies into the gas fields and oil fields in this state as well.
That's a good answer.
And it will be economic development for our state. And it has been for several years now. If you drive by any well site, you're going to see solar panels and batteries, maybe some small wind turbines. It's here. It's been here for quite a while.
And I think a lot of people I talk with don't realize that.
Yeah.
You know, they don't realize that they're using it out there to
Yeah.
pull stuff out of the ground, you know.
Yeah, it would be cost prohibitive for us to run high lines to every location and electrify them. This is the most cost-effective way to do it is with solar, especially solar.
People say that about they call it the Gigafactory over there, you know, his battery factory. But if you look, he's trying to run it all on renewable energy, wind and solar. So to have a building that big and to run it all on renewable energy, it just speaks to, you can't do it.
The people
Bull.
that are going to compete and win in the state of Wyoming are the ones that are going to understand all the technology and know how to implement it in the wisest possible way for the applications. That's where the huge opportunities are going forward, is to be innovative like that and know how to apply the technologies correctly and on the right scale.
I don't like when they push it away.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't need it.
yeah, we're being left in the dust by the rest of the world if we have that mindset.
Yep, I agree. You know, the questions like that? That's good.
Are they all-wheel drive?
Are they all-wheel drive? Yes, all-wheel drive. In fact, if you go onto YouTube and look at, there's a guy that actually races one, street races it. Probably shouldn't say that. But if you go on and watch him, he took a stock Tesla Model S, gutted it in the back to get rid of some weight, but there's nothing on the street that could touch him. He didn't do any other modifications to the car. Nothing. And no car, I mean, they're even pulling up these guys that do drag racing, you know, on a weekend basis, or a weekly basis. And he smokes them all, you know. I mean, it's ungodly what these things can do. They actually have, I don't know if you know, they actually have a national, you know, the NHRA, Drag Racing Association. There's one for electric vehicles too. Go check it out. You know, just not as popular, right? Everybody likes that sound. Any other questions like that? Those are good.